Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to Saturday Serial. That's it. It's 2022. Holy shit. It's a new year. Woohoo. So, without further ado, I hope you all had a good night, by the way, as well. Hope you're all safe. Hope you haven't got hangovers too badly either. I don't, because I don't drink. Yay. Okay, so here we go. Let's introduce my co-host for the show. Without further ado, is the wonderful Deleted Scenes. How's it going, buddy?
Good morning. I'm in the bag. No, I'm fine. Happy New Year, Matt. Happy New Year to you and to everyone in the chat.
Yes, indeed. I can't believe we actually made it to 2022.
We made it.
You know, the world didn't
was on our
explode
side.
last night.
It did not.
Thank goodness. But so, what did you get up to on your New Year's Eve then, Stephen? I'm going to ask.
Well, I had some friends over and had a little party, little wine, women, and song, so to speak.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice chilled out night, was it then?
Indeed.
Nice. That's the way we like it. And so I had a very nice chilled out one myself. It was just me and Julie. That was it, you know. Well, I say me and Julie. It was Julie on the phone because I've had my phone set up on tripod there. The joys of long distance relationships.
I've been there.
But hey, it's 2022. It's a special year. It's a special year this year for lots of things, lots and lots of things. But last year wasn't a bad year, I guess. I mean, it wasn't the best year, but we got some really good stuff in regards to the world of film last year.
Yes, we did.
I mean, what else happened last year? I'm trying to think of that I'm grateful for. Apart from obviously getting Ghostbusters finally, which was obviously wonderful. And, we've had some excellent films like Dune and, amongst others like Nobody, like Cop Shop. There's been some great films in 2021, actually, considering all the delays and stuff from 2020 that we dealt with. But, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Last night I saw Belfast, Kenneth Branagh's film. Very good.
Oh, yeah.
Have a slice of life character drama.
And how was that?
It's very good. And I don't know if the movie is based on his own experiences or not, but if it is, it would explain a lot.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Did you say Kenneth Branagh? You say it was?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, I'm going to put some headphones in and see if this makes a difference. Okay. Can you still hear me okay, Stephen?
Absolutely. Yeah.
There we go. Then that's fine. I was just testing to see if my my headphones work. I'm actually using some headphones for a change. It makes it easier for me to hear you anyway. That's it. Because believe it or not, I'm listening to you normally in the room, which is surprising. My microphone doesn't pick up on it, but yeah.
Uh-oh. I am in the room with you, Matt. Okay,
welcome. Stephen, is that
you?
You?
In the lair now.
Is that you? Is that God? Who's talking to me? I don't know. But yeah. So we're not going to do the usual Saturday serial thing today. I figured I'd lay it out right now, as we're starting the show. But we're gonna do something different today because it's obviously New Year, new start. So rather than doing the standard thing we normally do where we go hit the Google News, we're gonna do our top 3 each films that came out in 2021, and then our look forward to the next year and the films that we're looking forward to coming out in 2022. So I know that you have been away and thinking of your top 3 for the last year, as I have myself as well. Mm-hmm. And I think we've picked some pretty solid movies,
Yes, I believe we have.
Yeah. To have a look at and wax lyrical on. As they say, or do they? Do they say? Do they even say that anymore? Or am I just dating myself there? Probably dating myself. I'm so down with the kids. But yeah,
As
and
as to where I am elderly.
well,
I
you can
was
tell
born
I'm
in
down.
1904. No.
I was born in
What are you
1884.
people doing in my room?
Is this how how is this box with light got pictures on it that moves? So what's going on? You can tell I'm down with the kids though because of my little rant video like about teenagers. That's how much I love kids. No, I do. I appreciate kids. I appreciate kids. Like just teenagers annoy me. Brandon, yeah,
We have our
Woo!
first guest in the chat, our good friend Brandon, the anime guy, and he has his channel back up and running today. So right after our show is done, go over to his program, which I believe is going to be starting at 12 noon.
I think so.
In Eastern Standard Time in America.
Yeah, Brandon, stick it in the chat. Give us the official time start, your time start and stuff, so we can pull it up. I'll be coming in. I'll be popping in to say hi, definitely for sure. Because New Year, you got your channel back, bro. It's awesome.
Congratulations, and I will be there as well. So
yep, that's it. The Saturday Serial crew, we shall be joining you. That's it. Yeah, man. It's nice because I don't know what happened there. Fucking YouTube a-holes, but you know something. I like I said, the more and more I learn about how Japanese studios are and stuff like that, especially the anime studios and things like that, the more I learn of how they are like complete a-holes when it comes to copyright stuff. Like it's like I really do feel like quite strongly for like anime YouTubers like Brandon and other people. Like is like if you want to use any sort of clip or anything like that, like they'll fucking jump on you. Like they'll nerf you. The Japanese will. Like they really don't like it when you use their stuff. It's like because I follow a lot of like British people and American people who live in Japan and like they do like their videos and stuff like that, channels from Japan, like which is it's quite interesting because Japan's like a whole other world, like what I mean. It's totally crazy out there, like so Happy New Year, Ollie. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, and like so, and like they say like it's like the one guy who I follow called the anime guy, Joey, the anime guy. He's really funny, Australian dude, like lives out in Japan, like, and I follow like Chris Broad, like Broad in Japan, and people like that. Like, recommend their channels, check them out. I mean, they've got millions of subscribers, but check them out. They're really, really good, interesting stuff. And he was saying about the anime stuff and how it terrifies him, like because his main channel, the anime guy, he's afraid that it's going to get like fucking nuked from orbit by a Japanese animation studio, like. So that's why he started another channel now, like which is his more personal channel, and like that's where he talks about like things like the copyright infringements and everything else and stuff. That's what I've learned quite a lot. Like, so it's very interesting. That is like, and it's I didn't realize how risky it was to talk about anime. It's yeah. And I suppose it doesn't help when the fucking Western studios go and fucking bastardize the fucking Japanese fucking properties. Like, I'm sure that's going to piss off the Japanese, to no end, where they're like, "You Westerners, you do not touch our stuff," So
no, I don't blame them there at all.
Yeah, you can't really blame them. Like, I mean, I didn't even bother going watching all of the Cowboy Bebop Netflix thing because it was just like I heard bad things, and it's like. I kind of liked the anime, like I thought the anime was pretty decent. Cowboy Bebop's one of the few that I got into, like so.
Yeah. The final straw for me there was when they made the claim that we're fixing everything that's wrong with the original anime, and the fact that they said that the week that the original screenwriter died.
Yeah,
I thought was that's very disrespectful.
Absolutely disgusting. Like, it's just it's. I mean, it's one thing to go and do an adaptation, but when you go and like completely bastardize somebody's work, like it's like, why not just stick with the story? That's the thing that people like. That's the like the aesthetics as well, obviously, of things. That's what draws people to shows and gets people into, because they like the way it looks, and obviously it's just not strong storytelling and stuff like that. But where if you come in and you like start changing things to try and match fucking real world agendas and stuff like that, it's just. It just ruins it, man. Because that's not what the Japanese focus on. They don't, they focus on storytelling rather than fucking what's it called? Like wokoso bloody message forcing, like, you know what I mean? Like the Japanese really don't care, like, So that's why I respect
Hello to Brightest
Japanese.
Day for joining us.
Oh, Brightest Day. How's it going, brother?
Yes.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you for popping in. Thank you for popping in, man.
You're absolutely right.
Sorry, I was going to say, like,
yeah.
Am I going mad, or did I spot Brightest Day on Doomcock's stream not long ago? Was he on Doomcock's stream? Were you on Doomcock's stream not long ago, Brightest Day? Let us know.
Wasn't he? I think so.
I think he was. I was again. I was just like perusing through YouTube, and like I thought I spotted him. I was like, oh no way! So, there we go. But yes, not likely. Fair enough. I saw you on somebody's stream, but I can't remember whose stream it was, dude. Like, I'm sorry, man. I thought it might have been Doomcock's, like, but yeah. But yeah, nice. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. Thank you very much for joining us. But yeah, so that's enough of the bitching and moaning, I guess, like about about the anime.
And as far as I'm concerned, personally, a live action Cowboy Bebop has already been made, and it's called Firefly.
Yes, and Firefly is awesome. Unfortunately, it got cancelled before its fucking time. Like, but it's one of the few things that Joss Whedon done that's actually really, really good. Like, so. Unless I popped into the chat at some point, I never streamed with DC. Okay, Comics Division. It might have been Comics Division then. It was definitely a panel. You were definitely on a panel, dude. I saw you, but I'm literally, I'm brain farting on it, brother. I'm like, I'm sorry, Brightest Day, mate. I'm literally just trying to remember, but my brain's just fogged on it. I do apologize. But I know I saw you on somebody else's stream, bro. So it's good to see you out there, mate. Good to see you out there in the ether. So yeah, right then. Okay, so let's get down to some movie talk, shall we? Some movie talk. So let's get on to get our thoughts started, shall we, for our films? Okay. Hold on a second. I'm just going to quickly reply to this message. Just tell them that I'm on a stream now. There we go. So you shouldn't be dealing with stuff like that when you're live on there. But yeah, so yeah, right. So what was I doing? Okay, yeah. So we're going to talk about our top 3 films of the last year. Okay, that's anybody who's joining us now. That's what me and Stephen have got planned for this show. We're not doing the movie news because it's the first day of the new year. Like, next week we'll get into what's going on with nitty gritty. So yeah, okay then. So right, basically, what me and Deleted Scenes have done is that we've gone away and we've thought of our top 3 movies from 2021, and we're going to run them down and discuss what we liked, what we didn't like, maybe, about those films, and yeah, and then we'll hopefully get some of your opinions in the chat as well. Like, so yes, and Mr. Payne, Craig. Happy New Year to you too, good sir. Happy New Year. Thank you for joining us. Right then. So, without further ado, I'll go first. Is that okay with you, Stephen?
Absolutely.
Right then. So, my first film, of 2021, my top movie, that I really, really enjoyed, was I didn't actually do a review of this film. I did a look at the trailer when the trailer for it came out. But the film I didn't actually get around to reviewing because I had a bit of a shit experience with the 4DX when I went to go and see it. Because it was the first film I saw after the cinemas reopened. Like, it's the first movie I went to go and catch. So, and it was Godzilla versus Kong. There we go. So, This was the long-awaited film, or was it the third one? It was the third one, wasn't it? In the Godzilla Legendary series. Or third Godzilla film, sorry. Fourth in the Legendary Monsterverse series, because you had got Kong Skull Island as well. So this, right, considering that all of the crap that we were going through at the time, at the start of 2021, with regards to things still being closed and locked down and everything else, Godzilla versus Kong was a massive breath of fresh air for me after the debacle that was 2020. To start the year with a film that really was just about having fun. Like, you know, there was nothing about Godzilla versus Kong which made me roll my eyes or made me, like, you know, groan or anything like that. Like, I literally had so much fun with it. Because it was what I wanted to see, which was two big fuck off monsters kicking the seven colors of rubbish out of each other. And I got that, and I was not disappointed like either. The visuals were incredible. And I know this is one of the films that got slapped onto HBO Max for day and day release over the last year. But considering it was like one of the first major films to come out after the lockdowns, it smashed it. It did really well on the box office. I can't remember what the final box office takings were actually for it. Let me pull that up. So GVK box office. So yeah, the box office collection, the final box office collection for Godzilla versus Kong. This is considering as well, right, that we were in, you know, still in part lockdowns and things like that. Its total box office earnings, including international. Okay, this isn't just domestic, this is international. It managed to hit in the end $467.9 million. So it nearly hit $500 million, you know. Considering the time of its release and considering, you know, the kind of movie it is, yes, like Godzilla versus Kong, what a way to start my year last year. I mean, I loved it. I mean, the human cast and stuff like that weren't great. You know, they were very simple, very cookie cutter, you could say. We did have, you know, returning cast members from like the older from Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and we had, you know, obviously Kong in there as well, and it was good to see those two beating the hell out of each other with modern technology, modern CGI and stuff like that. Like, because it is a very visually stunning movie, and yeah, and the sense of scale that you get watching it, they did so well. You do feel the sheer, you know, size and force and power of these titans, and the end battle, or the two end battles actually in that film. I can talk about spoilers. It's been out like in a year now. Hey, Julie, my beautiful lady, my beautiful woman has joined us. Thank you very much, baby. Love you very much.
Happy New Year, Julie.
Happy New Year, darling. And yeah, and like I say, it's like that end battle between, like, that's what I liked about it, was because it was like 1 minute you thought that Kong could win, 1 minute you felt like Godzilla could win, and the obvious thing at the end was they both kind of win. Like, you know, like that's against Mecha Godzilla. If you haven't seen it, like, you know, they fight Mecha Godzilla. You should know about this by now, people. Come on, I'm not really worried about spoilers in this show. So I probably should have had a big flash up saying spoiler warning, but fuck it. So yeah. So yeah, so like I say, and like by the end of Godzilla versus Kong, I left the theater feeling extremely satisfied. You know, with the film, I felt extremely satisfied. Did you manage to catch Godzilla versus Kong then, Stephen?
I did. I wound up watching it on HBO Max.
Mm-hmm. Are you a fan of the Godzilla series?
Am I a fan of the series? Of this particular series, it's been kind of hit and miss.
Yeah.
I did not like King of the Monsters.
There was a lot of things in King of the Monsters that could have been better. Like the human story was just really weak, and that, but it did feel a bit too. There was a lot crammed in to King of the Monsters. I felt not enough time.
overstuffed, and a lot of the subplots from that film did not carry over to this one.
This is very true.
Either. Yeah. I called it at the time a Transformers movie with kaiju. That's really what I thought of it. And
appropriate.
King of the Monsters was actually on my 10 worst list of that year.
Oh, really?
I was not happy with it at all.
Oh, yeah, no. That's fair enough. That's King of the Monsters was 2019, wasn't it, when King of the Monsters came out?
Mm-hmm.
I believe. Because obviously, because we were going to have Godzilla versus Kong in 2020, weren't we, originally? But yeah, obviously, just delays. We got 2021 instead. So obviously, so you, because of how Godzilla King of the Monsters left you like with that taste in your mouth, like so when you went in to see GVK, were you a bit were you I don't know, were you pleasantly surprised with what you got from it compared to King of the Monsters, or would you say it was more on par or with what had already come before it?
Well, they made the human characters in a GVK more likable, for sure. We got to see Alexander Skarsgård do a Jeff Goldblum impression, which I was never expecting to see.
Actually.
I
like Skarsgård though. I thought he was pretty good. Like,
he's
in that Northman film.
Yes, that Northman looks. I think we're going to be talking about that a little bit more later.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks very good.
Yeah.
But I mean, with the GVK, all I wanted was, that famous line from the previous film: "Let them fight."
Let them fight. Yes,
and Mr. they did. They made the monsters the focal point, and that's what I wanted to see.
Yeah, that was. I mean, we couldn't complain at Legendary for the amount of on-screen monster fighting that we got, like, because it was pretty damn awesome. That was, to be fair.
Because the major complaint of the 2014 Godzilla was they cut away from the action.
Yeah. I remember
this
that.
This time, you're in it. You are there. You're in the middle of these two titans facing off.
Oh, like the Hong Kong battle scene, like when they're just kicking the crap out of each other amongst the skyscrapers and with all the neon lights. Oh my God, visually stunning, or what? Like, just all those bright colors and stuff, and just the chaos and destruction that's been. I mean, kudos to the Legendary effects people. I mean, the CGI in Godzilla vs. Kong is so stunning. Like, it really was just a spectacle to see. Like, especially on a big screen. I will say that. That's, I mean, anybody who actually got lucky to see it at a movie theater. Oh my goodness! It was one of those films where, like you say, they put you in the middle of the monster fights, like, and the theater experience for that. I mean, if they do any like re-releases this year, like of any films that came out over the last year at theaters, if Godzilla vs. Kong is one of them and you didn't get a chance to see it at a theater, I recommend it. I highly recommend it. It's a popcorn movie, it is a popcorn movie. But yeah, okay, so that was my first one then, so that would be my number 3 then, I guess. So that's my number 3 of the films that came out of 2021. So so what was be your number 3 then, Stephen?
Do you want to go ahead and talk about this one now, or are you going to wait? Because I know we have an overlap.
Oh yes, no, we so we'll leave that one. The overlap. That's our number 1. That's our number 1, I think, for both of us there.
Okay.
So let's go with your least one. So your number 3 in line. So which one would that be?
Okay, so we're going to jump to Into Heights.
Here we go. Go on then, Stephen. Take us away.
Right. Well, Into Heights comes to us from Lin-Manuel Miranda, and starring Anthony Ramos, who's excellent.
Yeah.
And Coy Hawkins, Jimmy Smits appears in this film. It was a movie that got short shrifted as far as box office was concerned, and awards consideration. And I think mainly because of the very poor marketing
Yeah.
that got this movie totally wrong, and focused on politics instead of the story, which is very universal. You could have set this anytime, anywhere, told the same story, and been absolutely corrected. Happy New Year, Purple Valkyrie. Thank you for joining us.
Happy New Year to the Purple Lady. Thank you for joining us, indeed. Hope you had a good night last night. So yeah, sorry, carry on, Steve.
Yes, this is really an immigrant story. And this isn't a story about people who are chasing the American dream. And it's about a man who's searching for his own little place in the world. And he's in search of family, and realizes by the end that they are all kind of right there in front of him the entire time. You know. And it's kind of the antithesis in a way to West Side Story, whereas there's that story is based on Romeo and Juliet, and it does have this very dark ending and kind of undertone to it. In the Heights is a celebration of life.
It really is.
I think.
It really is.
And there are some truly magical sequences in this. It is very much a musical epic.
Yeah.
This is epic filmmaking that we don't really see a whole lot of anymore.
Oh yeah, totally.
And
it's such a well put together film as well. I've got to say.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, as far as musical goes, I wouldn't call myself a big musical guy. You know, I wouldn't say I'm like super hot on my musical cinema, but in the Heights, I cried. It got me crying. It got me smiling. It got me laughing. You know, it got me like, you know, cringing at certain things as well. You know, I could say because I'd never heard of In the Heights before finding out about it through Paulie on Latino Slant, like, you know, that was my introduction to In the Heights, really. And so I kind of followed the rabbit hole through Paulie's side of things, and I was so pleasantly surprised by it. Like, I was really, really felt like uplifted by the end of it. It was, like you say, a nice slice of Americana, like, you know, and obviously the setting as well, being, you know, the New York urban setting, like, you know, as well. I mean, obviously, In the Heights is In the Heights is it's set in the modern day, isn't it? In the Heights, or is it?
It is.
Or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like because obviously West Side Story is a period drama, really, like, you know, period musical, isn't it? Like, that's why I think anybody who watches In the Heights and you can't, and like feels by the end of it, if you feel like, you know, shit, or feel, you know, down by the end of that movie, like, I challenge you to, you know, have a soul.
It is a very uplifting, positive movie, and it's like I said, it is the antithesis of this kind of dark, nihilistic tone that most Hollywood movies take on these days. And this was a real shot in the arm, I think, for film this year. And I wish there were more movies like it, and I wish more people had gone to see it.
Yes, I agree there. I wish it had gotten more credence, you know.
Absolutely, because the marketing really killed this movie because they missed the point of it completely. The movie is about family and about fellowship and acceptance and
love, really. It's a love thing, you know.
yeah,
It's a big love
it's
story. Like,
got a great love story, and really, once you think about it, there are like 3 or 4 love stories in
I know,
this.
yeah, like all the different stories that you follow throughout.
Right,
It's
because you don't just have the main couple, you also
Mhm.
have the storyline with Corey Hawkins. And how great was Corey Hawkins in this movie?
Oh yeah, dude,
You know,
amazing. Like,
anybody who
yeah,
just knows him through Walking Dead or 24, he's really going to knock your socks off in this because
yeah,
he steals the movie as far as I'm concerned. He and also Leslie Grace, they have a scene
yeah.
together that it is reminiscent of the Hollywood musicals of old.
Yes, yes, yes. I agree. Yeah.
And that's when I knew I am going to like this movie
Mhm.
no matter what. This could go totally downhill from here on in, but I'm going to like this movie because this one scene is there. And anybody who's seen it, I think they pretty much they know what I'm talking about, which
Mm.
scene I'm talking about. And um, it's not just the love story between these two couples. You have a love story between this man and his grandmother who's raised him,
Yeah.
and you also have the father-daughter love story between Leslie Grace and Jimmy Smits, where
Hmm.
he loses his wife very early on.
Hmm.
This is before the film takes place,
Yeah.
and he has basically worked so that he can give his daughters something to strive for, to work up for, and how many times do you see a good father
Mm.
in a
The
Hollywood movie?
positive father figure.
A positive father figure, yes.
Yeah.
You don't see that very often, but you get that here.
Yeah.
And
Unfortunately, and unfortunately, these days, being a positive father figure, it can be seen as toxic masculinity and whatever.
no, he's a guy who's trying to do right by his daughter, and
Yes.
and
There's a strong sense of family throughout this film, I
oh,
feel.
very much.
Mhm.
Every character is connected to each other in some fashion,
Mhm.
and
Oh, the intertwining of all the stories and stuff, I think is really cool. Like how, like, you know,
mhm,
that's why I thought it was so easy to watch for me as far as musicals go because of
yeah.
the flow between stories. There was, nothing felt out of place, nothing felt jarring or anything like that. It was just, it had a real fluidity to it, which, it's obviously a stage show and stage shows have to have fluidity, like,
Mhm.
um, because you can't. It's a bit hard to tell a non-linear story on stage. You know what I mean? Whereas, but in the Heights, I mean, I was engrossed from start to finish. Start to finish, it hooked me. So, and like I say, musicals aren't my thing, but yeah, In the Heights, really, really highly recommended it. Yeah. Nope.
Mhm.
And Bryant, Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Yeah.
Happy New
So,
Year, Ian.
all right. So, have you got any final thoughts then on In the Heights?
My final thoughts are: this is a story, as I said, it's about family, it's about fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it is a universal story that could have been set anytime, anywhere. This could have been a Korean story. It could have been a Japanese story.
Yes.
It
Yes, I agree.
it could have been. You could set this anytime, anywhere, and still relate to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't get a fair shake. And
Unfortunately.
so my advice to everyone in the chat: if you have not seen In the Heights, please, um, Give it a look. Get the word out there. This is a movie that needs to be seen.
That's it. Get onto HBO Max. If you're in the UK, get yourself a VPN so you can get on there. But you can also get physical copies as well now and things like that.
It is out on Blu-ray and 4K.
That's it. Yep. Physical media, people. Still support physical media. Okay. Nice. Cool. So Lin-Manuel's In the Heights. Check it out, people. Check it out. All right then. So shall we move on to the number 2 slots? All right then. So number 2, I'm gonna pull this out then, make sure I have got the right film up before I look like a complete douchebag live on the air, because I'm good at that. So yeah, my number 2 movie. All right, this is probably gonna be pretty obvious for anybody who follows me. I've been screaming about this movie for a while, and I think I nearly physically crapped my pants when I saw the final trailer for it come out. I did my reaction to that was dun 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 Ghostbusters Afterlife. Right, this one I've got a funny feeling is going to be polarizing for some, because I love any Ghostbusters fan out there really did like Ghostbusters Afterlife. They enjoyed it, but I know there are a lot of Ghostbusters fans out there who have got a lot of bad things to say about Ghostbusters Afterlife because of its sheer amount of fan service, right? Which, to me, after the sour taste that was left in our mouths from the 2016 non-canon parody of Ghostbusters, we needed fan service. We needed a film that was going to bring us back to the original feel of the 4 guys, and do it diversely without making it woke, right? So, because what Ghostbusters 2016 tried to do, and Paul Feig, that a-hole, was he was just he just wanted to hate on men, basically. That was it. He wanted to turn Ghostbusters into a battle of the sexes, which, why would you do that? Ghostbusters has never had anything to do with gender politics or anything like that whatsoever. Why would you all of a sudden go and make a film that is just completely polarizing and a big fucking middle finger to Ghostbusters fans? So we were very lucky that Jason Reitman, the son of Ivan Reitman, managed to get his foot in the door and was allowed to make a true follow-up to the original 2 Ghostbusters movies and make it a family-orientated film as well, which is one of the points I really enjoyed about Ghostbusters Afterlife, was that, yes, the original 2 films was a story about the 4 guys, starting a business and trying to, and then, well, the second film was kind of cut and paste from the first film, really, but with different bad guys for that, 80s sequels, better the devil you know. So for Afterlife to be a more small scale, grounded, family orientated movie, for me was a nice breath of fresh air for Ghostbusters, because they could have just cookie cutted it and made it the original guys and everything else, but no, like I say, to see a dynamic between a family unit and also a family coming to a new town, and the kids having to find their feet with people, and then the history of the town that they got in there, with tying back to the first Ghostbusters movie with Ivo Shandor, and obviously just having the remaining 3 Ghostbusters return in real life. And then I'm going to spoil it. If you haven't seen Ghostbusters Afterlife, you should know this by now. It came out in November. But Ghost Harold Ramis, Egon, showing up at the end. My God, I cried like a fucking baby. I am not kidding you. I was in the theater. I went to see it with my friend Dave, because I went to see it twice in one day, Ghostbusters. And that first sitting, right, me and my mate Dave, right, when that Egon scene came on, or you could collectively hear just a around, and I'm pretty sure it was all the grown men in there that were doing that. So because I thought they might do something like that, but the way that they did it and how respectful and tastefully done it was They didn't try and make him speak. They kept him as a silent character and anything like that. Like, it was just such a beautiful way to end the movie. And then that little end stinger for possibilities of continuing the franchise. I was probably one of the most satisfied people on that day ever. I'll be honest with you. It was everything I wanted and everything that I needed. And again, it was a nice breath of fresh air to have a film that wasn't focused on like, woke messaging and, force feeding you morals and stuff like that. Like, no. It was like diverse characters, an engaging story. Yes, a hell of a lot of Ghostbusters fan service, but this film is for Ghostbusters fans and to introduce a new, younger generation into the Ghostbusters franchise, and I think this film does it perfectly, because I did see a lot of like people of my age, we grew up when we were kids with Ghostbusters, and then to see people my age with their kids there at Afterlife, obviously I mean, I don't have kids of my own, obviously, but it made me feel warm inside to know that there is a new generation of Ghostbusters fans that are getting something good, like something that's worth getting behind, a franchise that's worth getting into. If you hadn't seen any of the other Ghostbusters films, I'm pretty sure that watching Ghostbusters Afterlife as a kid now, you'd want to go and watch the originals. It would, I mean, the 2016 film, I'm sorry, queef jokes are not for kids. Yeah. So, and Ghostbusters is like, it's for kids. It's a kids fucking thing. Like, yes, there is adult humor laced throughout it and stuff like that, and adult stories and stuff like that. But you gotta remember, Ghostbusters is like, it's fucking guys hunting ghosts. Like, it shouldn't be political. It shouldn't be anything else. It shouldn't have queef jokes. It should just be a wholesome thing, like, and Ghostbusters Afterlife for me pulled that off. It was a nice surprise, basically, because it was one of those films which could have been overhyped, because of how long it took to come out because of the pandemic. But when it finally dropped, and it wasn't woke, it wasn't messed up, the story was very respectful to the original film and the original cast, and I was just happy, extremely satisfied. So that was my number two, my top three. That was my number 2 film for 2021. Any thoughts on Ghostbusters Afterlife, Stephen?
I loved it. This is back to, once again, this old school filmmaking. This brought me back to the 80s and to the original films. It is very much a continuation of the original, well, certainly of the first movie, and to some extent the second as well. It doesn't mention the second movie as much, but it's there.
No, yeah, there's a couple of Easter eggs, in there.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This was my number 4 for the year, so it just missed my top 3, and
so just missed it.
It just missed it, and just missed it, and it was one of the greatest cinema experiences I've ever had as well. It's not very often that I am literally on the edge of my seat, leaning forward, looking at the screen. That doesn't happen very often anymore. And with Ghostbusters, that happened.
Yeah.
It was, and not only were there people my age who brought their kids to this, which I'm so glad that they did. In my screening, there were more adults really than children, because this was people my age getting their childhood back for 2 hours.
So, grabbing that nostalgia.
And that's great. And is it a little fan servicey? Sure. But I think we earned this one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Jason Reitman grew up on the sets of the original 2 films.
I mean, Christ, he's in the second film. He's the
yes, he is. Yeah,
he's the one who turns around to Ray and Winston and says, like, my dad says that you guys are full of shit.
yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah.
See, he grew up on the set. He's in the movie. He is emotionally invested because not only is he trying to maintain the legacy of the films, he's maintaining his father's legacy as well.
It's a family thing for him as well. Yeah, it's a family thing.
It is very much so. It's it is very much a family story, a family literally reconnecting from beyond the grave.
Yeah, literally.
And when that scene comes up, when you have Ghost Egon, there was not a dry eye in the house, I assure you. And just seeing him back together, just seeing the original four back together, just in that form, and just having Winston just look over, just glance over and sees that Egon's there.
That face that Ernie Hudson pulled, that was the expression of all of us at that moment, which was just like,
okay. And he just goes right back onto what he's doing. Okay. Yeah, I am not even phased.
Totally. It's just like, well, it's like, well, yeah, that's happening. I think Bill Murray's expression as well said a lot, because if you know, like the history of Harold Ramis and Bill Murray, and the reason why Ghostbusters 3 didn't get made a lot sooner was because of the falling out between Harold and Bill after Groundhog Day, which again is I love Groundhog Day. It's a great comedy, but again with a very dark story behind it, really, because it's a comedy. It's quite a dark tale, like Groundhog Day, dying repeatedly, living the same day over and over and over. But yeah, like they had a massive falling out on that one, which is what put a kibosh on Ghostbusters 3. And eventually we got the Ghostbusters video game, which was apparently Dan Aykroyd said that script that was used for the game was actually meant to be Ghostbusters 3. Like that was going to be the original story. So if you do go, you can actually go. Actually, that's something I'll tell you. You can actually go onto YouTube and you can watch all of the cutscenes from the Ghostbusters game put together as like a 3-hour long film. So you can just watch it as kind of like this film, and it is Ghostbusters 3. So if anybody ever wants to see that and you haven't got time to play the game completely all the way through, you can go onto YouTube and you can actually watch it as a film. So I recommend that. It's a great script because it's Harold Ramis script. It's Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd's script, so it's definitely worth checking out. And it would have been great if we could have got that as a film. It would have been amazing to be able to have that as a big film, but because of obviously the time that's passed, what Jason Reitman did with Ghostbusters Afterlife and bringing the scale down and making it personal, was, like you say, even if they don't make another Ghostbusters now after this, which I think they probably are going to do considering how successful this has been. But if they don't make another Ghostbusters film, I am very happy to have this as a bookend. The original guys are old men. Harold Ramis is a ghost. Egon's a ghost. Ecto-1 makes its way back to New York City. That's it. That you can end it there for me. I'm happy. You don't have to continue with the Ghost Corps thing. Just call it a day.
Oh, for sure.
But then again, saying that though, I mean, McKenna Grace. Okay, that kid, right? She fucking carried that movie, totally carried the movie. Her character, I mean, what an amazing little actress she is. And the chemistry that she had with Logan Kim, who played Podcast, their little friendship, their little buddy back and forth. My God, it was so lovable. You couldn't help but love those kids. It was just this is really fun. You can see the growth of their relationship, their friendship, which was awesome. And considering that was Logan Kim's first ever movie, it's that kid smashed it. He smashed it.
He did.
Yeah. And Paul Rudd, I mean, like just the supporting cast as well, like Paul Rudd, Carrie Coon, like excellent, like absolutely excellent. Like, I mean, Paul Rudd's just amazing in everything that he does, really. He's just hilarious. You know, you can't help but laugh. And Carrie Coon is such a strong actress as well. Like, and her portrayal of the deadbeat mom was awesome. You know, I thought she nailed that. Like, it's like, especially like the whole like he's a scientist, ew. Like, you know, it's that sort of moment. Like, you could tell that she was really hating the fact that her dad was a scientist and ditched her and everything else. Like, you know, the only things I will say about Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I felt was like what a reason why I wouldn't mind seeing a sequel, would be to see Finn Wolfhard's character and Lucky. I can't remember the actress's name. The girl who played Lucky, Christine something. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But yeah, I would have loved to have seen those two characters get a bit more development, which is what I guess they could do for a sequel. You know, like focus a bit more onto those characters, like because obviously if they do a sequel, it's gonna, oh god, I don't even know where they could go with the sequel, but the possibilities could be endless. You know, especially if they extend the Ghost Corps, because obviously Winston being a billionaire now, like, you know, it could make Ghostbusters global. Like, that would be quite an interesting thing to see, like global Ghostbusters. They like have to travel to find ghosts, like, you know, ancient ghosts in, like, you know, like, I don't know, say like Japan, like, because Japan's got some great ghost stories and great ghost history and stuff. Imagine seeing the Ghostbusters in Japan, like, you know, how awesome would that be? So that'd just be like a hell of a culture sort of shock sort of movie. It'd be really funny. So let's say Ghostbusters. It was my number 2. It ticked the right boxes for me. Yes, there was a couple of continuity and plot hole things, like, but they're you know, I mean, there's so much good from that film. I could let them go. I could let them go and be happy with it. So yeah, my number 2, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Any final ones on that one then, Stephen, before we move on to yours?
No, I think that about wraps it up.
All right, cool.
I think we summed that up pretty well.
Yeah, I will say though, 3 days. Okay, 3 days, people. If you haven't seen Ghostbusters Afterlife already, then we probably have just spoiled stuff for you. But 3 days, it's out. It comes out physical media and on digital download in 3 days' time. And there is an absolutely stunning ultimate box set, 4K box set collection, which comes inside a ghost strap with the original 2 and Afterlife in there, and shitloads of special features. And if you really, really want it, you can get the 2016 film on a digital download. But let's just face it, everybody's going to burn those pieces of paper, aren't they? Anyway, so yeah, my final thought on that one. Fuck you, Paul Feig. Jason Reitman, thank you very much. Okay, so right then. So we'll move on to your number 2 movie of 2021 then, shall we, Stephen? Are you ready?
I am.
Here we go.
And my next one is Dune.
Boom. Yeah, man.
Denis Villeneuve's soon-to-be classic, I believe, science fiction film adaptation of the Frank Herbert novel. And once again, another foray into truly epic filmmaking.
Yeah.
And also another theme through, I think, all of our films, really, family.
Yes.
And
very strong family
destiny.
theme in Dune.
Very strong family theme, and kind of embracing one's destiny, regardless of how that might turn out for you.
Yeah.
I'm someone who was never really sold on Timothée Chalamet playing Paul.
Why was that? Was it because of like his age or his acting abilities? What was it? What was it that didn't grab you about him to begin with?
You know, I had only seen him in 2 movies previous to this.
Right.
And that was the 2019 Little Women.
Okay, yeah.
And the Christian Bale film Hostiles, I believe was the name of it.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
And
I haven't seen them.
it's which is also an excellent movie, very brutal but excellent. Timothy Chalamet is in that as well. Do not get attached to his character. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So I was used to him in these smaller roles, and I was like, can he get it together to play Paul Atreides? And he does.
Yeah, I was very impressed.
He knocks this out of the park. He is excellent in this. So is Oscar Isaac. So is Rebecca Ferguson. Everybody across the board is
Cast.
very good in this. It's very well cast.
So
yes,
solid. So solid.
And
I mean,
anybody who went into this thinking that this is the Zendaya show.
I know. No. Yeah, there was all that worry before, wasn't it? That like the whole the woke alarm went off, didn't it? Like, and it was just like, but luckily, that didn't happen. No. Once again, false alarm.
What you have here is a very solid adaptation of a classic story. Mm-hmm. I was old enough to see the David Lynch 1984 film in theaters.
Oh yeah.
And
so I remember watching when I was younger the Dune. Mm-hmm. I was watching with my older brother, and I hadn't got a fucking clue what was going on. Especially the Finch version of it. Like it's really trippy, man. Like, and it kind of it compared to what they've done with the new version, like the new version of it. Like it's, you look at the Finch one, and it's like they simplified it too much and made because obviously they tried to cram it all into the one film with that, and doing such a big story that it's one film is never going to do it. This is why I was worried what they were going to do with this one. Like I thought they were going to do it as one movie, and like because obviously it didn't say part one when all the like marketing and stuff for this did not say part one, did it? Like it was just Dune, and then when you go and see it, it comes up on the screen part one. Like so, it's like right, that's right, that right there sold me straight away. Seeing part one, it's like okay, they're not gonna fudge this up, but they're stretching it out. Like the and like you say as well. The whole Zendaya show thing where everyone was worried about that, like she's barely in it.
Yeah.
It's like it's only really the end that you get the Zendaya stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
And and Javier Bardem and stuff like showing up and stuff like that. That's why I was close. The way that this film was marketed and stuff like that was totally different. Like going in and seeing it, it caught me off guard. It caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting to be as good as it was. So, oh, hello, release the Kraken. Happy New Year to you. Good vibes, and coffee on Cordoban. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Happy New Year to you too. Good sir. Sorry, Stephen. Yes, I started talking over you there. Like, carry on.
No. The direction really stands out here. It was some people might have thought it was kind of slow paced. I think I hear that pacing worked.
Yeah, I feel it gave you more time to take in the visuals. Like
yes, and you actually see people thinking. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of action in this movie. Don't get me wrong. There's always something happening.
Yeah,
but it's the quieter moments.
Yeah,
that the character beats that would ordinarily get cut out.
Mm-hmm.
but you need those here, and that's great. That the scene that I always go back to is the cemetery scene between Duke Leto and Paul.
Yes, very
know,
solemn scene.
That where Paul doubts if he could, be a leader, and Leto tells him, if you can't be a leader, then be the one thing I've always wanted you to be, my son. That got me.
Yeah.
I mean, that two actors who, in my opinion, lately have not been in anything where they've been allowed to act.
Yeah.
They really brought genuine emotion to this. Even Jason Momoa's character. And people kind of know him either from Stargate or, he's Aquaman or something. And it's like, no, he gets to be a real character here who has this arc.
You feel the relationship he has with Paul, which I thought was great. You could feel that kind of almost brotherly love between them.
Yeah. I mean, you get the right script, you get the right director, you get the right cast, and it can't fail.
Yeah.
I mean, I keep trying to think of ways where this movie could have gone wrong, and aside from the fact that it by design has to end so abruptly.
Because it does come to like just a bump.
Yeah. There's a point where I think it should have ended, and it doesn't. But that's fine.
It does leave you wanting more. That's for sure. It does,
which every movie should. All of the great movies, no matter how many times you've seen them, you go back and you watch them again to look for something else that you missed the first time around.
Yeah.
And maybe there is nothing there, so, it's like my dad used to say this thing, what are you expecting to find? It's so different. You've watched this movie 50 times already. Move on. But that's why, but
I definitely get what you mean, though. It's definitely a film that you can go back and study.
Yeah, this isn't so many movies these days are one and done.
Yeah,
and I don't need to see that again.
Yeah,
Dune was the one where I wanted to go back and watch the whole thing over again.
Yeah.
Right afterward, and that's very rare with me.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean, because it was kind of like a similar sort of feeling for me as well. After watching it, it was like, oh, I kind of want to go back and watch that again right away, because I feel like there might have been a couple of things I didn't notice or something, like you say. Because there probably is going to be a lot of stuff like that, actually, like, because of it leading into the second film and stuff. There was a lot of stuff that's left open because of the conclusion that has to come. Like, if you know the story of Dune, then you know the conclusion anyway. Like, but like I say, I totally agree with you. Like, where there was a point, I think I know where you mean as well. It was like there was a point of the film where it's like, okay, this would be a good bookmark here, like end it there and get ready for the next thing. But I think what they did, like, where they just gave you that little piece extra to get, like, just to wet your whistle for what the next part of the story is going to be, in the dunes, like, with the Fremen, like, and everything else, like, because this, like, the first part is more of you set up for, like, the House Atreides and, like, the war and everything like that, like, and like the Emperor's like ulterior motives, I guess is a better way to put it, like, and like, yeah, it's basically like, setting up the families, like the family battles, like, and stuff like that, like, and the Fremen are kind of almost a second thought in it. Like they're kind of almost the way that they set them up and give you that taste. It's like this mystical people, like, you know, like and stuff. You want to, like, by the end of the film, you're like, shit, hold on, Fremen. I want to know more about the Fremen. I want to know what's going on here. Like, you know, give me more, like, and yeah, that final piece, I think, yeah, I don't know what it is. It's like it was just enough of a taste to get you hooked, I think.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've so talked up this movie, and now that I have a chance to do it again, I'm almost at a loss for words. It's for people who are starving for a good science fiction film, for epic filmmaking, for character drama, great action. This was a movie that was made by people who cared about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and maybe not everybody involved understood it.
Mm-hmm. But at least they respected the source material.
They respected the source material, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Denis Villeneuve realized that Dune is the first part of this epic story that has the 60-year going on fan base.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, so
yeah,
he knew going in, if I mess this up,
mm-hmm.
they're going to come at me with torches and pitchforks.
Yeah, yeah, it could have been a career-ending move.
Absolutely.
You know,
but instead he came out with not only one of the best movies of the year, probably one of the best movies I've seen, period.
Yeah, sci-fi wise, yeah, definitely. It's up there in the realms of like Blade Runner and stuff like that, like, you know, for like sci-fi epic. Classic as well. I feel like the word classic is going to be attached to this eventually as well. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree with you there, dude. Totally agree. Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we'll get sometime in the next couple of years, we'll get the
I think 2023
second part, or maybe even a third part. 2023. Okay, good.
2023, part 2. Yeah, so not this year, but next year we'll get part 2, I think. Yeah. If I remember correctly, unless they start changing dates around again and stuff like that. Like, but yeah, as far as I know, we've got a year gap, and then we'll get the follow-up. Like, so yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, hello, Paulie. Happy New Year to you. There we go, bro. Thank you for joining us. Greatest boys, can't wait to hear your number ones. Happy New Year and love you both. Much love to you too, good sir. We love the Latino slant. We do. So yeah. Paulie, like I say, was, you know, one of the main reasons why one of the films that me and Stephen have been talking about on this show, like In the Heights, like if it wasn't for Paulie, I don't think I would have known too much about what was going on within the Heights, like. And so, like I say, go check out Latino Slant and check out Paulie's coverage, like on In the Heights, and all the stuff behind the scenes and things like that as well, because it's very interesting, like the politics behind it and stuff like that. We did touch on it briefly.
Yeah, another movie that, if I could go into sort of honorable mentions here for a second,
do it, brother.
Another movie that Paulie has really talked up is a film on HBO Max right now called Son of Monarchs.
Ah, yeah.
With Tenoch Huerta from the Narcos series.
Tenoch, yeah.
That is an excellent film as well. A character drama about a biologist whose research is kind of mirroring what's going on in his life as as each scientific breakthrough he makes. The movie kind of peels another layer of skin off of him, so to speak.
Oh,
you know, and it is. It's very deep, and So anybody who has not had a chance to, or maybe hasn't even heard of Son of Monarchs, which is another movie that kind of not only there was no marketing for it, at least not in this country. And
well, I haven't seen any myself. I'll be honest. In the UK, no marketing really.
So if it wasn't for Paulie, it was a movie that would have not been on my radar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I say Paulie's been a great source for things like the past year. Like,
absolutely,
really has. Like I say, this is why we highly recommend on Bud Boy Productions and on Saturday Serial that you go over to Latinos Land and subscribe to Paulie. You will not regret it. You will not regret it.
And also, while Paulie's still with us, I kind of have him to thank for being here, because he was the first one who ever brought me onto a live stream.
Yes.
So, if it weren't for him, I would not be here hosting the show and making it twice as long as it originally was.
No, I've got to say the same thing, bro. I've got to say, my live streaming cherry on YouTube was popped with Paulie. Like I say, my first ever live stream I did was discussing Supergirl, the new Supergirl. And the hatred that towards her to Sasha Kaye out when the images were released of her in the costume and stuff like that. Paulie was the first person I ever had on, and we were discussing the hate and how it shouldn't be there and stuff. And like I say, and like we had the fun with Karaoke Geeks as well. Like I say, Paulie is an absolute legend. Thank you so much. Like Paulie, 2021, you made, especially on my YouTube life, you made 2021 a very great year for YouTube for me. And I love you for it, man. Thank you. All the praise to Paulie there. You're just a pimp hard at work. Pimping since pimping, brother. Love it. Absolutely love it. Right then. Okay. So do you have anything, final things you want to add on to Dune then? Before we move on to our joint number one, because we actually picked the same film for number one, didn't we?
Okay. Dune is going to be on Blu-ray and 4K, I believe, on the 11th.
Nice.
So anyone who has not had a chance to see it yet, now's the time. Go out and get yourself a physical copy.
Definitely. I can imagine it'll look amazing in 4K. On a smaller screen, because obviously it's a big screen film. Again, it's one of those films where I would say, like Godzilla versus Kong was.
This was very much an IMAX worthy film. Yeah.
Definitely. Like I say, I know it was a day and day release with HBO Max and stuff like that. But yeah, if they do again show this in the next year at the cinema as like an exclusive screening or something like that, like it's one of those films I definitely recommend. Catch it on the biggest screen you can see it. Like the scale and scope of this movie needs to be seen in that large format for sure. Right then, so should we move on to the number one spot? Okay then, right then. So yeah, number one. Funnily enough, we both came to the same decision, because we thought about these films separately. We went away. We decided like this. It was like, okay, top three films the last year each, and funnily enough, we shared one. You shared one, so it was like, right, that's got to have to be. It might not be our top number one movie, but because we shared it, it hit number one spot. So let me get my poster ready for it. Here we go. I don't know how many people in the chat who are watching and stuff like this are going to be able to predict this one, but here it is. Number one, Spider-Man: No Way Home. The most recent film to have been released in our list. Just all I can say is, oh my God. This film was, for me, pretty much perfect. It was just start to finish. I absolutely adored this movie. The way that, because I was starting to get to a point before it was released where I was like, oh my God, is this overhyped? Has this been overhyped to hell now? Like, is this going to be, because like, the whole thing with like, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire returning actors from other films and everything else like that. Like, it was like, this big build up, and it was just like, oh, is it actually going to live up to this hype? Because the past 2 Spider-Man films were good, but they weren't the best Marvel movies. Like, they were pretty good. Like, don't get me wrong, pretty solid Marvel films. Like, so I didn't know. I didn't know. It was like, could they pull it off? And my God, yeah. Is Mark? It's not Mark Webb. Is it Mark Webb who directed this? Isn't it Mark Webb, the director?
John Watts.
Oh, is it John Watts? And Mark Webb did the other Spider-Man, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing Spider-Man. That was it.
He did the Garfield films, yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So John Watts. Holy shit! He nailed it. He nailed it, man. Considering as well, obviously one of the deals that Marvel and Sony had was that whenever Sony did an MCU movie, they had to carry over one of the main MCU characters into that movie. Like, so Spider-Man was always going to have a main character show up from the MCU. So obviously, Homecoming, we had Iron Man. Far From Home was Nick Fury and Maria Hill and that side of things. And then obviously No Way Home, Doctor Strange, of course. And the whole multiverse bending side of things and like pulling, characters from different universes and stuff like that. It's like different franchises. It could have been really confusing, and it could have been one of those films where characters didn't get enough time and enough development and stuff like that. Like, but the pacing of this movie, again, like I say, it's for me close to perfect, like close to absolutely perfect. I'm gonna go and watch it again. Like, I need to go and watch it again, like in the next week. But the respect that was shown to the original properties, the love that was shown to, I mean, it's okay to talk about it now, the other 2 Spider-Men that show up. It's like, oh God, it just worked on every level for me. I mean, and one of the things that made me happiest about it was the Andrew Garfield thing. I mean, as much as like, his Spider-Man films were seen as like not the best ones, although Amazing Spider-Man was pretty good. Amazing Spider-Man 2, not super strong, but still had some really good moments in it and stuff like that, I mean, Christ, it wasn't Spider-Man 3. So, but this, like I say, yeah, it was good to see Andrew Garfield getting that emotional comeback that he deserves, because, considering he was seen as the weaker of the Spider-Men, it's like, I think he's one of the better Spider-Men. Like, maybe not the rest as Peter Parker, but Spider-Man, he's nailed that. Like, he really captured that character, the cockiness and everything. Like, and like the emotional weight that he brought in the few scenes that he had, especially when he saves MJ. I mean, we're talking spoilers here, like, especially when he saves MJ. Like, you felt that. I don't know if you did, but like, I know I did. Like his emotion that came when he's holding MJ after saving her. It's just like you if you knew his films, like, and knew what happened, it's just like, man, that brought tears to my eyes. That moment. I was just like, oh shit, what a character redemption moment that is. Like, it's like totally out of his own film series as well. I mean, oh, it worked so many times but there were so many moments during the whole film that made me just go, yes, and oh yes, and this is awesome, And yeah, and I did have that like collective sort of moment where those Spider-Men appeared, and the entire audience were just like, yes. It was just like, so yeah, it was brilliant. Spider-Man No Way Home was definitely my favorite film of 2021, easily. So, Stephen, your thoughts? Go on then, brother.
Well, it's definitely very high on my list, and this is, in my opinion, the best Marvel movie since Winter Soldier.
Oh God, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because Winter Soldier's my number one Marvel film as well. Yeah, it's like my top of the Marvel, and then it was gonna, and then I'd say it would be Spider-Man: No Way Home. Then in like my Marvel films anyway, so it'd be like Winter Soldier, Spider-Man, and then after that Infinity War. Now that's my top 3 Marvel MCU movies, I'd say now, in that order, because I still hold Winter Soldier very, very highly, like because I think it's just a great spy thriller, as well as a superhero movie, But yeah, sorry, carry on, Stephen. I'll cut you off there, mate.
No, I'm totally in agreement with you there. And going back to Zendaya for a moment.
Mm-hmm. Yes, another film with Zendaya, actually. Yeah, we didn't mention that.
This is the first time I ever bought a performance out of her.
Yeah, she was excellent in this.
She's great in this. And and they give her a wider range of emotions.
Yeah.
In this. She truly has a character arc in this.
Seriously? Yeah.
And I also think she's good in Dune, but she's in so little of that movie that you can't really judge.
Yeah,
she's fine.
Yeah,
but that movie gives her not really anything to do.
Yeah, part 2 is going to be her develop. We're going to see her shine, definitely.
But here, finally, after 3 movies, they made me care about this iteration of MJ. I mean, and I get that it's not comic accurate. But within the sphere of this particular group of films, she really has. She finally got some character development here, and not only does she get rehabilitated, Andrew Garfield gets rehabilitated. And now I want to go back and see his movies.
Yes.
With this sort of whole new light, because I didn't see those movies. I didn't see the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, but now I want to.
Oh, I recommend, like I say,
going
the
back.
The second one is not strong.
I've heard that. Strong. Yeah, I got that idea, but I think Andrew Garfield steals this movie.
Yes, definitely.
It does in a way he's great in this. Willem Dafoe is outstanding as the Goblin, and Norman Osborn. They get. I don't. I'm sure you've probably heard this story. They got Willem Dafoe to come back. Only if he was allowed to do his own stunts.
I mean, the guy's 66 years old.
He's 66 years old.
Pretty impressive, isn't it? Really,
And aside from a couple of being thrown through a wall bits, it's all him. Yes. And I stubbed my toe, and I'm bedridden for a week. And he is 100 proof Green Goblin in this. And you can tell he's just having a blast. He's great. Alfred Molina is great.
He turns it up, man. Like, both of them, both Alfred Molina and Willem Dafoe. Scene stealers, man. Scene stealers.
Absolutely. I'm trying to think of is there anything I could really criticize about this movie, and aside from a couple of little bits here and there, there's a couple of cringy dialogue moments.
Yeah,
I'll grant you that. But aside from that, I really didn't have any issues here. This was back to form for Marvel, and I hope that they'll stay on this road from here on in, because Phase 4 has not been the best. This is definitely the
it's been the weakest. Definitely been the weakest
it's
phase
definitely
of the
been the
Marvel
weakest.
films.
Yeah, but this
I mean,
has been the light at the end of the tunnel, for sure.
I mean, Black Widow. Yeah, that was a film that should have happened a long time ago. Yeah. And Shang-Chi wasn't too bad. I enjoyed Shang-Chi. It wasn't the best, but Eternals,
Yeah.
I didn't bother with. I didn't watch it.
Mm.
I just actually didn't watch Eternals. I just didn't want to. I just thought, fuck it, it's one of those films. I'm going to go and watch all the spoiler reviews, and that's what I did. And watched all the end credit scene and stuff like that on YouTube because it just struck me as one of those films. It was just like pointless again, another felt like a filler film in the MCU, if you know what I mean. Just kind of like, okay, we're going to go down this path now of like the cosmic side of big fucking celestials and everything like that. Like, so here's your little exposition film, Eternals. Yeah, there you go, have that. And then obviously the going forwards, it's going to be more about like the multiverse crazy side of things, isn't it? Like, I mean, I actually watched Loki in the end. Hey, I finally watched Loki, the whole series. I was impressed by Loki. Oh, God, why did I not get onto that sooner? Like, what a good series. But the end of that series, because obviously the Disney Plus stuff is all connecting to like the MC cinematic stuff and stuff like that as well. But what happens at the end of Loki? Fuck it, I'll spoil it for you because it's been out for ages now. Like, right, you're dealing with Kang the Conqueror, right? And like the sacred timeline and everything like that. Like, and what happens at the end of Loki in that final episode? Holy shit! It's like, yeah, everything goes completely mad. Like, it's just like the timeline gets destroyed. Like, and it's basically going to create this the multiverse of madness. Like, that's like, I mean, it's like I wasn't expecting it to tie so much to what goes on in Spider-Man and what's going to be coming up in Doctor Strange, and also going forwards with Ant-Man and the Quantum Mania, because Kang is the big bad in the Ant-Man movie. Like, so I don't know. Like I say, it was a weak start. Phase 4 was definitely a weak start, like for as far as Marvel goes. Like, but my God, I think it might end on like one of the higher notes of the phases, for Marvel. But I don't know. That's my prediction anyway. That's my prediction. So we've still got like a couple more years of this phase. Like, so, because I don't know when. I think Ant-Man's 2023, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's 2022. But then we got like the whole Secret Invasion thing coming and everything else. Like, so I don't know. Like, I think Marvel have had a lull, like, in that, like, with the Disney Plus side of things and stuff like that. Like, but I think now after Spider-Man, things are going to definitely pick up, because Spider-Man being a part shared movie with Sony as well as like Marvel, it meant that they didn't have to follow the certain traits that Kevin Feige is tried to, put in and pepper throughout the MCU now, which is with regards to politics and the political side of shit. Whereas like Spider-Man No Way Home, there's no politics, which I loved. There's no political side to it. There's no woke agenda. There's no anything. It's very much focused on its story and and on fans of the franchise, fans of Spider-Man. That's it. It's again another a kind of fan service film, but a necessary fan service film, if you know what I mean. Don't know if you agree.
Oh, absolutely. Marvel has the chance to right the ship. And I hope for their sake that they are able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Excited. I'm excited for Doctor Strange anyway, definitely. I mean, I know that this was the next Spider-Man films we're going to get now with Tom Holland is going to be the start of a new trilogy. They've said, apparently, it's rumored. It's a rumor thing, but it seems like it's a very strong rumor that we're going to get the new trilogy with him, college years, because now he is Spider-Man. Because that's, what I think most of us realized at the end of like No Way Home was like, holy shit, this was one giant character arc through 3 films. It's like, whoa, it's like, wasn't expecting that. Like, it's like, the Spider-Man that you start off with in Homecoming is not Spider-Man, really. He just is, the Spider-Man that us Spider-Man fans know and love is what we get at the very, very end of No Way Home. That's like the birth of a Spider-Man, So I am, very happy with the way things are going forwards with regards to Spider-Man anyway. Like, and yeah, like I say, with the MCU as well now, I think going past this movie, I think we're going to have some real stuff to actually look forward to again. And hopefully it'll be a return to form for the MCU.
And not just a return to form for the MCU, but a return to form for the Spider-Man character himself.
Yeah.
Because you had the criticism that he was relying too much on Tony Stark. There was the whole, he's just Iron Boy Jr.
Yeah.
By the end of this movie, he is the Spider-Man.
Stripped right down. That's it.
Right back to his basics. He's even in the John Romita design suit.
It looks awesome. It's you only get to see it so briefly, great. But it looks awesome.
So it's he is now Peter Parker unplugged.
Yeah, because of that the second spell, that it reset everything for him, like which is perfect. It was perfect how they used Doctor Strange to do that. I was happy. I was so happy. Yeah. Oh, there we go. There's my lovely lady Julie. Yay! I love Spider-Man. Hashtag Andrew Garfield. Yeah, Julie is a massive Andrew Garfield fan. I fear if ever I'm with Julie and we ever get to meet Andrew Garfield, I'm gonna have to like step in between them. I think and be like, "Yo, back it off, whoa." So yes, darling, don't you dare. Yes, you've got a sweet spot for Mr. Garfield. I don't know. That's probably why she's with me. It's the English accent. That's what does it. There we go. Although I only found out yesterday that Andrew Garfield's only 2 years older than me. 2 years, born 1983. Yeah. But I'm taller than him by half an inch. I'm half an inch taller than him. So yes, darling. Yes. Keep it in your pants, Julie. Keep it in your pants. All right. So all right. But yeah. So what a way to end a year cinematically, really. I mean. It's not don't get me wrong, like Spider-Man was not the film that ended the year, because we've had a couple of films come out after Spider-Man. Let's give some mentions to the new Kingsman movie, The Kingsman. That actually looks like it could be quite fun, because again that's a prequel film, period set, I think it's First World War, I think it is, setting, because it's got Rasputin and stuff like that as one of the bad guys and things. And it looks like a load of fun. So I haven't seen that yet, but that only came out the day after Christmas. So it's still fresh in cinemas. So go and catch that one if you can. Don't know if it's any good. It looks good though. Then the other one I'll mention, which is one of the ones that came out after Spider-Man, is The Matrix. Ugh.
I take it you are not a fan.
The least we talk about The Matrix, the better. Okay. It was pointless. It just didn't need to happen. But I have found out a couple of things about The Matrix since its release, which was that I didn't realize. I didn't realize that there's a lot of backhanded humor in it. Because obviously, it's a lot of meta stuff going on and stuff like that. But that backhanded humor side of it is the whole regards to them making something like making the game and stuff like that. Like, but it's just like apparently that whole bit there was actually taken from what was happening with the Wachowskis in regards to the Matrix franchise, which was basically Warner Brothers were like, we're going to make it with or without you. So it's like, you either come back and do it, or we'll just go and make it anyway, do it our own way. And obviously both of the Wachowski siblings did not agree with that, and only Lana was the one that had the backbone to take it on. Like, but you could even see. I mean, I wasn't until after I saw some like red carpet interviews with Lana Wachowski, and like she got asked like, so why now? Why now why now do we need another Matrix film? And she struggled to answer that question, which I thought was just like, that just says it all. It was like, it didn't need it. Why Warner Brothers? Did you feel the need to go and tap into the Matrix again? Like, I mean, yeah. So let down by the Matrix, unfortunately. But let's just call that one the death of a franchise. There we are.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way.
Yeah, I think the thing that's going to save the Matrix going forwards from what's happened is the new game, because apparently the new game is running on an Unreal 5 engine or something like that. It's the game engine. Apparently, it's very, 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 very good if you're into gaming. Like, I mean, I'm not a massive computer gamer myself, like, but yeah, apparently that is very immersive and everything else. Like, so I suppose that's one good thing that came out of this with regards to the Matrix. But yeah. So that's that then, really, isn't it? Like, I said we were gonna talk about films that are coming out in the next year, but we've been going for like an hour and a half. So I think what we will do then, Stephen, if you're up for this, my friend, is next week's show we will talk about everything coming up. Because we'll talk about our top 3 each. Should we do that again? Top 3 each of what's coming out in the new year? Yeah. All right. Yeah. Because like I say, we've run over on this one. I knew we'd have a lot to talk about, talking about like, our top 3 of the last year. Sure. So I think we've been talking long enough now about 2021. So that's our roundup of our top films from the previous year and what we loved. And our thoughts on it, our critical thoughts as well. So then, next week, then we'll do our what's coming up, what's 2022 got to hold for us, things we're looking forward to, and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Right then. So that's next week's show then. So be sure to subscribe and get the notification bell on, then, people, so that you are, ready for next week's show, where we're going to be talking about what's coming up. And what was I going to say? Yeah, notification bell on. Yeah, that's it. That's all I've got to say. Yeah. So, Stephen, final thoughts on 2021, considering it's the 1st of January. So, what were you any final reflections from the past year that you'd like to talk about quickly?
Well, thank God it's over.
Yeah.
And go see In the Heights. Go see Dune.
Yes.
Cats, Sons of Monarch. Cats, Belfast is very good. I just saw that yesterday, so check that one out. That's on Amazon right now. So.
Oh, it's Amazon Prime one. Okay, nice. Cool. And I'll add a couple more in there as well, like ones that honorable mentions from the past year that briefly mentioned them, but didn't really talk about them, which are great films as well that I thought feel that need some attention from the last year. Like Nobody, definitely was a fantastic, refreshing action film. I'd say definitely good fun as well. So yeah, I recommend Nobody. That's one of my other recommendations from the year. And Cop Shop would be my other one. with Gerard Butler. I loved that. I thought it was such an entertaining film. Again, nice, tight little story. Not too much to think about. No bullshit agendas or anything like that. Like just a good, solid, like action thriller, stroke comedy as well. Because there's a bit of comedy in that one as well. Like so, there's a bit of comedy in Nobody as well. Like so, but yeah. So that's my other extra two that I'd recommend checking out from the past year. Mm-hmm.
And if you like Cop Shop, check out Boss Level as well.
Oh yeah, it's another
Hulu, which also has another Frank Grillo, Joe Carnahan team up.
Mm-hmm. And Mel Gibson is the bad guy in that one, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
So Mel Gibson playing a bad guy is always fun. Because he was probably the best part of that Expendables movie. To be fair, Expendables 3 was it? Expendables 3 wasn't it? Yeah, he was the bad guy. Like
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, there we go. It wasn't too bad a year, was it? I mean, regards to film, it wasn't too bad of a year.
No, there were some good ones this year. That's
it. I mean, considering that, the world was still in the shit. I think we got some solid entertainment out of it, like which is good. It is good. We needed it. Right then. So that's it then. Final thoughts, because everybody started to tune out now. We're down to four viewers.
Right. Remember that our friend Brandon, the anime guy,
yes,
he is currently live. So let's go over to his channel and
that's it.
Let him know that we sent you.
That's it. Yeah, we're gonna pop in, say hi to Brandon, show some love. So yeah, please do that, people. Like that's it. And yeah, be sure to come back here next week to join me and Stephen. Deleted scenes. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's it then. We shall do our sign off and our goodbyes then.
Take care, everybody.
Bye bye.